Good afternoon and welcome to Beyond the Forecast. We start with a live look at downtown Buffalo. Pretty cloudy out there. We see all that snow that fell overnight. I know I was brushing a ton of that off of my car this morning and it was pretty icy. It was not super fun to try to get ready for the day. I checked some observations. It looks like we might have some light snow actually hitting the ground in Buffalo, but certainly not the snowiest area that we're looking at today. That's more to our south. I'm sure Patrick is going to talk about that in a little bit, but we have Patrick at home in Hamburg. What's it like there with you?
Hey, Lauren. Hey, good afternoon. Yeah, what was a very snowy night last night and this morning, I got to tell you, at about 1 o'clock this morning, I get up at about 2, but I got up early. And it was snowing to beat the band. We had, of course, that snow that fell for everyone. Anywhere, we'll have some snow totals for you coming up. But a little lake effect band set up right over Hamburg, and it was intense for about 30 minutes or so. And then the drive in this morning was, just like you at home, 4 to 5 inches on the car that I had to dig the car out of and then scrape, of course, because you had the ice underneath it. But it is still cold here in blustery. Wind chills are still in the single digits and numbers are quite cold. And there is some snow nearby, just not here. Getting a little bit of sun, as you can see. But the big story, of course, it's St. Patrick's Day. I will bring it out. I got a kilt. I usually wear it every year. Some of our viewers over the years know that. It's 20 degrees here, though. So we went with the long pants. I don't know if I could withstand the kilt and the bare knees for 30 minutes out here. So, but, you know, the show is off to an early start, so maybe we'll find a way to get it on. All right, let's get to this very cold St. Patrick's Day. By the way, the coldest St. Patrick's Day in about 42 years. The last time it was this cold was in 1984, where the high was, I think, 24. And we're going for a high right around there. So yes, it is very cold. So what we're gonna do is start with a look at the current numbers out there. And yeah, we're in the teens to low 20s. Very cold. The average, by the way, is 42, and we're half that. We started the day, by the way, at let's see, the lowest wind chill this morning got down to 2 below zero. You can see some of the winds still gusting to about 25 to 30 miles an hour, and that brings us wind chills that are in the single digits. And this morning, they were in the single digits both above and below zero. In fact, in the 6 o'clock hour, they were below zero everywhere. And this is what makes what happened yesterday to today so interesting. If you look, yesterday at noon, it was 61 degrees. And literally 15, 16 hours later, it felt like it was 2 below zero. So that's it was 61 degrees. So that's a 63 degree drop in how it felt from yesterday to today. And by the way, behind me, I have an anemometer. It's a wind gauge and a whole weather, setup. And we this was crazy. A 21 degree temperature drop in 20 minutes here. At 11:40 yesterday, it was 61 degrees, and at noon, it was 40. Is that not crazy or what? That was a 20 degree drop here in 20 minutes. Okay, let's go to the forecast over the next 3 days. And as you can see, today we're going to manage the low to mid 20s at best, with still some scattered snow showers, but they're primarily well south of Buffalo. Tomorrow, we improve. We're in the 30s, but it's still on the cool side and a lot of cloud cover tomorrow, but it should be generally quiet and not as breezy as today. And then on Thursday, another day where the clouds will rule, but temperatures will be warmer. We're going to be in the 40s. So we are building slowly. And in fact, you'll see more on this coming up, but Friday and Saturday, we're actually closer to 50 degrees. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Not 60, 50 degrees. Okay, got some snowfall totals for you. And as you can see, many areas were in that 4 to 7 inch range. Places like Coldest and Holland and East Aurora, we're kind of in that 5 to 7 inch range. I know here in Hamburg we had about 4. Officially out at the airport, 3.2 inches of snow, which brings our season total to over 90 inches now, I think we're just shy of 90. We're right there. And of course, the average for the season's 94. So our average snowfall is within our sights, and we may just get there, even though there's not a whole lot more snow in the forecast anytime soon. But there could be some down the road. All right, a current look at our satellite and radar view. There is a kind of an intense lake effect snow band coming off Lake Erie into the city of Erie in Pennsylvania, and then extending eastward into Jamestown and points east of there, Salamanca, Randolph, all the way possibly towards Olean, and the snow with this has been in the 1 inch per hour rate. So that has been a fairly healthy snow band, but that's pretty much it. There's been a little light snow across the South Buffalo area earlier, and then also we had a band of snow over up towards Sardinia and those areas in southern Erie County, Colden, Springville, and over towards Collins, and that brought some healthy snows this morning. Orangeville in Wyoming County too participated in that. So that's kind of a setup of what's going on right now. And Future Look does show that the snow is going to kind of stay across southern sections of our viewing area. The southern tier is going to see most of the snow, if not all of it. Areas to the north, Erie County, Niagara County points north, kind of a mix of clouds and sun, but remaining very, very cold. Once again, it is going to stay chilly, it appears, throughout the day today. In fact, forecast highs today will be in the low to mid 20s at best, under we'll call it mostly sunny, but there could be a few sun breaks and some snow showers continuing across the southern tier. Now for tomorrow morning, tomorrow morning, it's going to be another cold one with temperatures falling into the low to mid teens, kind of like this morning, but it won't be as breezy, so the wind chills not as harsh. And then tomorrow afternoon, mostly cloudy, we do believe. The southern tier still could see some snow showers in the morning, but it should be mainly dry tomorrow. So that's kind of how things are looking in terms of just over the next 48 hours. There's not a lot of, changeable weather, just a slow build in terms of our temperatures, but quiet weather for a while. None of this extreme change or heavy snow or anything like that. We're going to see calmer weather prevail in the coming days. So the official forecast does call for a cold day today, under, again, mostly cloudy skies with some peaks of sun. And by the way, coming up, we are going to take a look at a longer range forecast, kind of rounding out the month of March. Because here we are, we're getting into the third week of March. The summer, the vernal equinox is not far away. Lauren's going to be talking about that coming up in just a bit. Also, cold weather, though, to continue until we maybe get to that fourth week of March. Tonight, we're down into the teens once again, under partly cloudy skies, lighter winds, so that's good. And then for tomorrow, again, a mostly cloudy day. There might be some peaks. I think we called it partly cloudy, but in these kind of weather patterns, the clouds tend to rule out. So mostly cloudy. Now, looking in the long range, the 7-day forecast, as you can see, we've hit rock bottom today, weather-wise, that is, with 20s. Tomorrow, we're in the 30s. On Friday, we're in the Thursday and Friday, we're in the 40s. In fact, Friday into Saturday, we're closer to 50 than we are 40. That's good. What you'll also notice, there are a couple raindrops on there, both in the southern tier and areas across the Buffalo metro. That is nothing heavy. We're talking chances of light rain and again, really light, maybe mixed with a few snowflakes over the weekend, but nothing dramatic. Yeah, of course, we've got the big basketball tournament coming to town. Weather shouldn't get in the way. Yes, you would love to display some nicer weather for Western New York when all of the visitors come here to Buffalo for the tournament, but nothing should keep the enjoyment of basketball to it should be maximized. Weather will not play a role in anybody getting to or from the arena. And then as we head into next week, what's up with that? Monday, we're starting another week and we're in the 30s again. So yes, we are building into the weekend with temperatures again climbing closer to and above average by a bit. But then we kind of go back the other way, Lauren, as we start next week. So here we are again, St. Patrick's Day, a cold one, the coldest in many years, as I mentioned. Not the coldest on record. That was in 1885 when that day had a high of 4, but this is the coldest one since 1984. And we'll remember it, certainly, because last year it was like 75. So this one's a lot colder. But spring is around the corner, and I know you're going to be talking about that, Lauren, coming up.
Yeah, it is. Spring is around the corner. It's just a shame that it looks like our first full week of spring is not going to be starting on a terribly warm note, but I'm going to break down what we've come to expect out of spring, why we have spring, what spring tends to look like, all coming up in a little bit.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Live here in Hamburg, New York, where it is currently about 20 degrees. You know, I spoke to some family earlier today, Lauren, right before the show, actually, in Los Angeles. And it's going to be 96 degrees there today. Wow. I'm sure you've heard about this heat wave coming out west. 96. And here we are, just as close to spring as they are, but our version of, a week before spring is this. We got 5 inches of snow on the ground, and it's right around 20 degrees, wind chills closer to 0. Yeah. But, Lauren, needless to say, for both locations, spring is almost here, right?
Yes, that is correct. Spring is almost here, however you slice it. Doesn't matter. It is coming for all of us. I talked earlier in one of our earlier Beyond the Forecast about the difference between meteorological and astronomical seasons. So just a quick refresher of that before I talk about the welcoming of astronomical spring, because technically we've been in meteorological spring since the start of March, because meteorological and climatological, we kind of use those terms interchangeably. Those seasons are very reliant upon record keeping when we're talking about average spring rainfall, snowfall, temperatures. It's a lot neater and cleaner to do that by months, which are always quite consistent. Whereas when you look at the astronomical seasons, they're not always starting on the same day every year. Sometimes the vernal equinox can be on March 20th, sometimes it's the 21st, and also in different areas of the world, because it's a very set time when that equinox happens, it can be a different day depending on where you are in the world, so that can also be kind of confusing in terms of record keeping. So that's why meteorologically, we do it by the months, keep it clean. Each season is 3 months. But astronomically, it has a lot more to do with the position of the sun's angle, and how it pertains to Earth. So let's talk about that. Obviously, Earth is not on a perfectly straight axis. It is on a tilt. It's about a 23.5 degree angle. And we have 3 kind of key imaginary lines of latitude that play a pretty big role in how we determine when the seasons are starting and when we're crossing over into a new season. So probably the most common line of latitude that everyone knows, it is 0. It is the equator. So that is actually what the sun is crossing, what it will be directly over when we hit those equinoxes. So the vernal equinox, which we are going to be hitting on Friday, and the autumnal equinox, which is typically around the 22nd, 23rd of September. But then you have the Tropic of Cancer around 23.5 degrees north latitude, and the Tropic of Capricorn, which is around 23.5 degrees south latitude. And these are the areas where the sun will be directly over on the given solstices. So the Tropic of Cancer, That is what the sun is directly over for the summer solstice for the northern hemisphere, which is also the winter solstice for the southern hemisphere. And the Tropic of Capricorn, that is what the sun is directly over when it is our winter solstice in December. And that is when we have our lowest sun angle. That is when we are our coldest. Conversely, the Tropic of Cancer is when we have our highest sun angle and when the sun is hitting us most directly and when we should typically be around our warmest. Then there's also the factor of the Earth's rotation around the sun. This is around where we are when we hit the vernal equinox. And interestingly enough, so this area right here, when we are at our perihelion, is when we are closest in our orbit to the sun, is actually when we are at winter. So even though we're the closest to the sun, our orbit differs generally 91 to 94 million miles, but that 3 million miles doesn't really make much of a difference when it comes to those temperatures, because when we're closest to the Earth, that's actually when we're at our coldest, and when we are farthest from Earth, that's typically, we hit that around early July actually, when we're at our farthest point from Earth. But that is when temperatures are actually starting to peak for us. It has a lot more to do with that angle, but I do always think that's a very interesting tidbit. So let's talk about the vernal equinox. It is coming on Friday, March 20th. The official time is 10:46 a.m. And so I talked about how in different areas of the world it can be on a different day. So Australia, which is 17 or 18 hours ahead of us, it's actually March 21st for them when the sun is crossing the equator. But the hours of daylight that we have on that day, 12 hours and 9 minutes. So typically it's called an equinox. It comes from Latin equus and nox, equus being equal. I might be getting that equal wrong, the specific Latin pronunciation, but nox stands for night. So it's equal night, equal parts day and night when we have the equinox. But you notice it's technically not quite equal. We actually have 9 more minutes of daylight than we do have of nighttime. And that comes from refraction, which I talked about a little bit yesterday when it comes to how the light bends when it hits a raindrop, and that actually separates the distinct wavelengths. So our atmosphere also does a little bit of refraction. So I put a little person on top of the Earth. Hopefully you can see them. Sometimes the contrast isn't great, but this is to kind of give you an idea of why we have that. So our sunlight kind of gets bent when it hits the atmosphere because the light travels at slightly different speeds when it hits those molecules that are in our atmosphere that it doesn't quite when it is just in space. So even when the sun is below our horizon, we're going to be able to see it. So we see the sun before it's actually over the horizon, but we perceive it to be that, and that's when we start counting those hours of daylight. So it looks to us like the sun is visible and over the horizon when actually it is not, because technically, if we did count it how it is supposed to be, it should be 12 and 12, but for us, that is not the case. So today is actually the day where we are at our closest to getting 12 and 12. Sunrise today was at 7:23 and sunset will be at 7:24, so 12 hours and 1 minute. It's actually 12 hours and 20 seconds of daylight, so this is our most even day actually. It's not the technical equinox, but it is our 12 and 12 day. And we are continuing to gain about 3 minutes every day, which makes sense. In a couple days, 3 days, when we hit the equinox, we are seeing that 12 and 9 minutes. By the time we get to the solstice, that's on June 21st this year at 4:46 a.m., we will be getting 12 hours and 21 minutes of daylight. So if you're still feeling like, hey, it's not spring, things are not getting warmer, don't worry. We still have 3 hours and 20 minutes of daylight left to gain. We still have a lot left to improve, and that is especially going to come with our increasing sun angle. So at the winter solstice, that is when our sun is at its lowest angle. That's when it's at the Tropic of Capricorn. And here in Buffalo, that's about 24 degrees. So that's a pretty low sun angle. The higher the sun angle is, the more intense that sunshine is, and the easier it is to warm us up. By the time we get to the equinox on Friday, that angle is up to 47 degrees, so looking a lot better. But don't worry, by the time we get to the solstice, that's all the way up to 71 degrees. If you want to get that perfect 90-degree angle, that's what those at that 23.5 degree latitude would be seeing. But 71 degrees, not bad, and that is going to do quite a bit as we continue to see our sun angle rising. And we're also going to continue to gain a lot when it comes in terms of our temperatures. So on the equinox, average highs here in Buffalo are 43 degrees, average lows 47, and the average temperature, which is generally an average of the high and the low, is 35 degrees. But don't worry, by the time we get to the solstice in June, average highs 77 degrees, average low 60, and the average between those two is about 68. So pretty nice. And just to kind of give you a visual of what it looks like, yes, this is using meteorological dates. So I do start it at March 1st and I end it at May 31st. But so today, we're a little bit before that equinox. So our average temperature today is 42. But you see the way those temperatures are just going up. It's a very warming visual. I love to look at that a lot. And even in terms of our low temperatures. So take a look at April 30th. The average low for that time of year is 42 degrees. That number should sound very familiar because that is our average high temperature right now. So Patrick, things are looking better, and we're going to continue. Oh, hey, Patrick, what's up? Things are looking better. Is that a kilt I see? Is that what you're holding?
If you want things to look really better, I would put this on. This is my family's tartan, by the way, and this is the kilt that I wear most St. Patrick's Days. Snow or no snow, 2 below or 20 above. Today was just a little too cold. Anyway, we'll be right back with an extended outlook. All right, welcome back, everyone. So one of the beauties of doing this from the Hamburg Bureau, my home office, is my kids are making me, my daughter's on spring break from college, so she's making me wear this. My parents had a funny way of coming up with a first name on this St. Patrick's Day. Yes, it is the birthday. And it's a great day to have a birthday with this name because nobody forgets, so the presents never fail. Anyway, all right, let's quickly take a look at the next, let's go the next week to 2 weeks, and you will see across the nation that much of the country is looking at above normal temperatures, except where? Yeah, here. New England and into the eastern lakes in both the 6 to 10 and the 8 to 14 day forecast, temperatures look to be at or below normal for the foreseeable future. And Lauren, you kind of have a quick look at spring.
The Climate Prediction Center likes to also give an outlook of what we can expect for spring, and for our area, they're not really helping us out much. It looks like maybe about average. So, but hey, average means things are going to be looking up from where we are right now. So at least that's good. That's a quick look at Beyond the Forecast. Thank you so much for tuning in with me and Patrick. Have a great day.
All right.